10 years. That's how long I bled for this dream. 10 years of overtime, skipped vacations, canceled weekends, and watching other people live while I saved, all for one thing: a quiet farmhouse, far from noise, rules, and especially people who think they own the world just because they sit on some imaginary throne called an HOA. When I finally found it, a white farmhouse, red barn, open pasture stretching into the horizon, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: peace. Real peace. No committees, no approvals, no Karens. That peace lasted exactly 20 minutes. The moving truck had barely parked when a white Lexus screeched to a stop at the end of my gravel driveway. Out stepped a woman in her late 50s, sunglasses too big for her face, lips tight like she was permanently offended by oxygen. "Excuse me," she yelled, storming toward us like she owned the land, the sky, and probably the sun too. "You can't move in here without HOA approval." I blinked. "Sorry, HOA?" She puffed up. "Pinewood Estates Homeowners Association. All properties here are under our jurisdiction." I smiled and pointed at the old wooden fence. "Actually, this property isn't part of Pinewood Estates. It's county land." Her face twisted. Red. Veins popping, like I'd just insulted her bloodline. "That's impossible," she snapped. "You can't just opt out." Emily stepped in calmly. "We bought this place specifically because it's outside the HOA." The word outside hit her like a personal attack. She spun around, muttering, "We'll see about that," climbed back into her Lexus, and sped off, gravel flying like she just declared war. And that's when I realized something. I didn't just buy a farmhouse. I accidentally moved into Karen's personal nightmare. The very next morning, I woke up to something flapping violently on our gate. Bright, orange, official looking, an HOA violation notice. I stood there in my pajamas reading it like a bad joke. Unapproved fencing, livestock not permitted, improper exterior paint color, failure to register with the HOA board. Emily came over, squinting. "She really printed this herself," she said. "Look at the font. This is literally Times New Roman." The letterhead said, "Pinewood Estates HOA Enforcement Division," like she was running the FBI out of her living room. That's when I decided to do the grown-up thing and went straight to the county office. The clerk, an older guy named Tom, didn't even finish reading before he laughed. "Son," he said, shaking his head, "this land was never annexed. You're not under any HOA. Not even close." He printed an official county map, highlighted the boundary, stamped it, signed it, and slid it across the desk. "Frame this if you want. You're free as a bird." That evening, I nailed the document right onto my gate. 10 minutes later, Karen appeared again, this time with her phone out, recording me like a TikTok cop. "You can't post fake documents," she shouted. "You're trespassing on HOA territory. I've already called the sheriff." Emily groaned. "She called the police? On our own house?" Sure enough, a sheriff's cruiser rolled in. Karen ran up first. "This man is illegally occupying HOA land without paying dues." The deputy looked at me. Then the document. Then Karen. He sighed. "Ma'am, this property is not under your HOA." Her mouth opened, closed, glitched. That's impossible." The deputy smiled. "A sign at the entrance doesn't make it yours." And for the first time, I saw it. Karen wasn't angry. She was losing control, and she was about to get dangerous. After the sheriff left, Karen stood there frozen, trembling like a phone with 1% battery. Her entire identity had just been invalidated by a man with a badge and a county stamp. "You'll regret this," she hissed. That wasn't a threat. That was a promise. For a few days, things were quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like someone is planning something in another room. We started settling in, fixing the barn, planting a garden, even adopted 2 goats Emily named Sugar and Biscuit. Real farm life, real peace. Then at 5:47 a.m. one morning, thud. I walked outside and froze. Someone had dumped a full load of trash at the end of our driveway: old couches, broken boxes, dead plants, even a cracked toilet, and right on top, a note: "Clean up your property or face fines." No signature, no logo, but I knew exactly who wrote it. Karen had gone from HOA president to illegal dumping criminal. Well, that's when I called the sheriff again. Deputy Tom showed up, took one look, and let out a low whistle. "This is harassment," he said, "and it's documented." He took photos, collected the note, even checked nearby cameras from a neighbor. 2 hours later, his cruiser pulled into Karen's driveway. I didn't hear the conversation, but when he came back, his face said everything. "She's been formally warned," he told me. "Any more contact and it's charges." That night, Karen's lights stayed off, her blinds shut, her Lexus gone. For the first time since moving in, I felt like I'd won. But here's the thing about people like Karen, they don't stop when they lose. They just change tactics. And her final move was about to flip this whole story upside down. About a month passed. No trash, no notices, no Lexus, no Karen. We hosted a small housewarming barbecue. Neighbors from the county came by, music playing, goats stealing food, Emily laughing in a way I hadn't heard in years. For the first time, the farmhouse felt alive. Then I saw her. Karen stood at the edge of the driveway. No sunglasses, no clipboard, no attitude. Just small, shaking, holding a brown envelope like it weighed 100 pounds. She walked up slowly. I wanted to apologize, she said. Her voice cracked. I lost my husband last year. The HOA was all I had left. It made me feel important, in control. I didn't say anything. She handed me the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter, real ink, real words, real remorse. She admitted everything, the fake notices, the calls, the trash, the obsession. I built my whole identity on telling people what to do, she whispered, and when you didn't need me, I lost my mind. That was the plot twist. The most wicked HOA tyrant in the neighborhood wasn't evil, she was empty. Not defeated by law, not crushed by the sheriff, but completely destroyed by the one thing she couldn't control, someone who didn't need her authority. I looked at Emily, then back at Karen. Out here, I said, nobody needs permission to exist. Karen nodded, tears in her eyes. She turned and walked back to her house. No threats, no schemes, no comeback. She never bothered us again. And that's when I understood the real lesson. The biggest revenge isn't winning. It's living so freely that the people who tried to control you have nothing left to fight. If this story opened your eyes, like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from.